up for the future of our planet and those who inhabit it. In the Catholic and Jesuit traditions of this institution, I invite you to join me in Pope Francis's A Prayer for Our Earth. We pray. All-powerful God, you are present in the whole universe and in the smallest of your creatures. You embrace with your tenderness all that exists. Pour out upon us the power of your love, that we may protect life and beauty. Fill us with peace, that we may live as brothers and sisters, harming no one. O God of the poor, help us to rescue the abandoned and forgotten of this earth, so precious in your eyes. Bring healing to our lives, that we may protect the world and not prey on it, that we may sow beauty, not pollution and destruction. Touch the hearts of those who look only for gain at the expense of the poor and the earth. Teach us to discover the worth of each thing, to be filled with awe and contemplation, to recognize that we are profoundly united with every creature as we journey toward your infinite light. We thank you for being with us each day. Encourage us, we pray, in our struggle for justice, love, and peace. Amen. In this mindset of unity and strength, I would like to invite Senior Garrett Fox, an environmental science, sustainability, and English major, to come and speak. Let's welcome him.
Well, I can yell. Thanks for coming, guys. I'm here to give a speech about the most complex and nuanced crisis that our species has ever faced. I'll keep it short. After all, we know why we're here today, don't we? Standing in the rain. Yes, some of us may have been prodded by our friends or spurred by spare time. Yes, some of us may be here to brandish politics or to write ourselves into newspapers or television. And some may be here to collect experience or to witness spectacle. But I think that beneath these reasons, residing in some hollow in our chests, lies a shared unease, a singular sinking feeling that pervades and corrodes our inner lives. That's really why we're here. We're here because we're scared. I need not repeat the seriousness of the problem, the apocalyptic vision measured and modeled that is slowly coalescing before our eyes like a trickle before a torrent. I need not repeat it because you already heard it in countless conversations, campaigns, and headlines. Because many of you have already lived it in the flooding this spring. Because your presence here today indicates that somewhere in your minds, the vision has dug in. I will instead only remind you of its immediacy and its inequity. The IPCC last year concluded that we have 12 years to reduce our global emissions by 45% to prevent 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming and the suffering of hundreds of millions of people. And it should come as no surprise that the poor and vulnerable, those least responsible for the swelling storms, droughts, and seas, will suffer the most if we fail. What does one do in the face of such looming threat? How does one react to a crisis of such unprecedented magnitude, severity, and injustice as climate change? Indeed, we know as members of a Catholic institution what we are called to do. From Proverbs 31, open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of all who are destitute. Open your mouth, judge righteously, defend the rights of the poor and needy. From the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, our tradition calls us to protect the life and dignity of the human person. And it is increasingly clear that this task cannot be separated from the care and defense of all creation. From Laudato Si. Living our vocation to be protectors of God's handiwork is essential to a life of virtue. It is not an optional or secondary aspect of our Christian experience. Why then, Creighton, does it seem so secondary here, so optional? Why is it that you never fail to brand yourself as green, as stewards, but continue to run things like you always have? I do not mean to discredit the progress that you have made in recent years. I mean only to question your sincerity. You talk of plastic bags while taking stock in oil. You back the Paris Agreement while gaslighting an eternal flame. You tout your environmental programs while graduating hundreds uninformed and unaware of the seriousness of the crisis. You treat the climate crisis not as a crisis, not as a moral imperative, but as a marketing ploy. You take action as long as it is visible, as long as you are not the first, and as long as it doesn't hurt your bottom line. Where is your sincerity? Where is your leadership? Why aren't you scared like us? We've stood your complacency long enough. These are our demands. Divest the endowment in all holdings of fossil fuel companies. Set a more ambitious carbon neutrality goal than that of 2050. Make climate change an educational requirement for all students. We do not demand these without reason, without precedent, or in malice. We demand them because our future is not a game. We demand them because we are called to do so. We demand them because we're scared like we should be. We are living in a crisis that cannot be downplayed, delayed, or ignored any longer. And it will not be. You may graduate us, but more will come, day after day, year after year, demanding justice as this institution taught us so well to do. We are not the decision makers. We do not hold the same keys that you do. But make no mistake, you will hear us knocking. Our knock will be loud, it will be firm, and it will not end until the door is open. We ask that you come out and confront reality, that you uphold your mission, and that you stand with us here in the rain on the side of justice. The concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere necessary for a stable climate is 350 parts per million. At 412 parts per million, we have long surpassed this concentration. In solidarity with those who have and will continue to suffer because of it, we pause now for 3 minutes and 50 seconds of silence.